Hi folks, I hope you're all doing fine. For those of you who don't know who Kent Hovind is, he's currently serving a long prison sentence. He's been in prison for nearly 10 years for a crime that he hasn't committed. At least I believe he's innocent. I don't believe he's committed the crimes that he's been sentenced for. Although he's in prison and behind bars, he still has access to a computer for email purposes, and he manages to get emails out. Not very often, it's usually once a week. He hasn't updated for a month, but his website is secondpeter3.com. So if we click on secondpeter3.com, and if you go over to Kent's blog, on that section, you'll see each one of these links is an update that he's made. Usually he's only got a few minutes to write the message, and he'll be very, very quick about it, and it's just a one-sentence job, and there'll be spelling mistakes in there because he's got literally seconds to type this thing and get it on the internet. But if you scroll down the list, there's been a lot of updates. I followed them all from the beginning. You'll see this one that's called Complaint Heldmeyer. Click on that one, and it's a little bit longer than usual. It's about 3 pages, but we're not going to read 3 pages of this. I'm just going to show you just one little bit. Scroll down to point number 3 here. This is what Kent Hovind wrote from his prison cell. He said, starting in about 2003, Pensacola-based Assistant U.S. Attorney Michelle Heldmeyer led a team of attorneys and IRS agents targeting this conservative ministry. In other words, the IRS were targeting his ministry. They finally got an indictment against both my wife and I on July the 11th, 2006, on 3 totally bogus charges, as explained below, by using lies, deceit, and withholding exculpatory evidence. Okay, so this is where it gets interesting, this last bit of the sentence. One of the American US attorneys on the team, J.D. Roy Atkinson, was arrested after my trial while going to Detroit to have sex with a 5-year-old. He hung himself in his jail cell on October the 5th, 2007. More about that below. So, the guy that convicted, the government lawyer that convicted Kent Hovind was a paedophile. So, to double check the information, we go over to, there's a Wikipedia article here, but you can just very easily copy and paste the name of J.D. Roy Atkinson into a search engine, and then you'll find mainstream news articles. It's on the New York Times, posted an article, Fox News covered it, but it was covered in a sort of late night back end story fashion, and only once, and not many people are aware of it. But there's the guy. That's the lawyer who convicted Kent Hovind, and he was a paedophile, and he was arrested and put in jail himself, and found hanged in his cell. And this is the type of thing that we're dealing with. Obviously, Kent Hovind was put in jail because he's very, very good at telling the truth. He can provide, and often does, put complex information together in an easy to understand way, and because he was absolutely destroying the official narrative of evolution, and showing that creationism is true in a way that is completely undeniable. Because he was so good at that, they put him in jail to shut him up. Thing is, he's due for release. Kent Hovind is due to be released in February 2015. they're trying to put more charges on him now to keep him in jail. I mean, he's served nearly 10 years for a crime he hasn't committed, and they want to put him behind bars probably for the rest of his life, but it all depends on this December hearing. So over at WorldNet Daily, it seems to be the case that they're the only media outlet that have covered this story, and it needs to go viral. It needs to be everywhere. Everybody needs to know that if you're telling the truth, you're a target. If you're exceptionally good at telling the truth, then your fate is probably going to be like Kent Hovind's. You'll be arrested and put in prison for a crime that you haven't committed. They'll stitch you up on charges that you haven't done. And WorldNet Daily are now reporting that a federal court Monday in Pensacola, Florida, scheduled a trial to begin on December the 1st for Kent Hovind, founder of the Creation Science Evangelism and Dinosaur Adventure Land. So they're trying to pile on more bogus charges after he spent 10 years in jail. They're trying to put more bogus charges on him, and they're trying to say that because he's protested his innocence, therefore he's bothering the system and filing frivolous lawsuits. From jail, Kent Hovind is protesting his innocence. If he had pleaded guilty, he would have served 3 years and he would have been out, 7 years ago. But because he's protested his innocence, he's served 10 years in jail, and he has to file legal lawsuits to show his innocence. And what the system is doing, what the corrupted government system, which is not just specific to America, it's you'll find a corrupted global government system that acts in the same way. Whenever he files a lawsuit, they say that he's filing frivolous charges, and they're trying to get him banged up in prison for the rest of his life. So it's not right. I'm standing up for truth. I'm standing up for justice. This man is a hero. He does not deserve to be in prison, and when the trial comes in on December the 1st, I hope the charges are thrown out, and I hope he gets out of prison. And if he does, if you do, Kent, if you are watching this video when you're out of prison, then I'd love to interview you. It would be great to get you on Skype and find out your story. So I'll leave it at that. I don't want this video to go on forever. I just wanted a quick update, and I think that if enough people expose what's going on here, we can get Kent Hovind out of prison. If they think that nobody's interested in the case, they'll just slap silly charges on him and have him banged up for the rest of his life. If you are in a position to speak out, and you do have a YouTube channel, and you can speak out, then speak out in any way you can about the injustice of this case. They've stolen Dinosaur Adventure Land off him. This was a theme park that was just showing evidences for creation over evolution, and the government stole this off him and sold the assets off. It's a tragedy. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. So there you have it. That's Kent Hovind. Okay, so that's all I wanted to say. I'm Tiger Dan 925, a prophecy addict from the UK, and God bless you all. And the answer to 1984 is 33 AD. Hi folks, I hope you're all doing fine. Quick Kent Hovind update. He's due to be in court on the 9th of February. It was supposed to be in December, then they put it forward to January, now it's February, and no doubt they'll put it forward again. He was due to be released from prison on the 11th of February. but now they're slapping more bogus charges on him, and that takes place on the 9th of February. I want to dispel this myth that he's in prison for tax evasion, which seems to be circulating around. It's not tax evasion that he's been convicted of. It's 58 counts of structuring. Now, structuring is withdrawing any amount of money from your bank account which is less than $10,000. And you might think that, oh, well, if there's 58 counts of structuring, then he must be guilty. But no, when you delve into it a little bit deeper, you find out that that was over a 12-year period. I withdraw money from my bank account approximately every 2 weeks. You've got to pay bills, you've got stuff to purchase. So I probably withdraw money from my own bank account 25 times a year, approximately. Kent Hovind withdrew money over a 12-year period 58 times. So, in a nutshell, if you've got a bank account and you've withdrawn any amount of money from that bank account at all, you are guilty of structuring. So the reason why he was sentenced, convicted of structuring, is because they had nothing on him. He's not committed any crimes. And if they can't convict them on a crime, then they use bogus charges like structuring. It's outrageous and it's silly. So every single one of you who have got a bank account, you are guilty of structuring, and they selectively enforce the rules to get people who are telling the truth and put them in prison for long periods of time. That's how the system works. So I believe that Kent Hovind is innocent. He needs to be out of prison. He's served over 8 years in prison, and for a crime that he hasn't committed. And any one of you could be committed of the same thing that Kent Hovind, just because you've got a bank account. This is how evil the system is. And I'm not making this up. You can look it up for yourself. So Dr. David Manning, he's a great guy. He's just interviewed Kent Hovind in prison. It's an hour-long interview. You can click on the left-hand side of the screen now to watch that interview. I'd advise it. This is awesome stuff. You've got to see this. The tide is changing in Kent Hovind's case now, because people are more and more becoming aware of the fact that he was stitched up on charges that he stitched up for a crime that he hasn't committed, that any one of you out there can be convicted of this crime if they just don't like you. So that's why we've got to get Kent Hovind out of prison, because it's not right, it's outrageous. Injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. On the right hand side of the screen, that's a previous video that I've posted about Kent Hovind. You can watch, that's about 7 minutes, but I strongly recommend that you watch this Pastor David Manning interview. It's an hour long. Click on the screen, it'll take you over to another channel, Lone Star 1776. Watch the video, it's amazing. You've got to see this kind of thing, and you've got to get behind the truth. We've got to get this man out of prison. This is Tiger Dan 925, a prophecy addict from the UK. God bless you all, and the answer to 1984 is 33 AD.